Okay, it is the actual day I'm supposed to have this published on here, so I do this at the last minute. I just didn't get around to it. Um, okay, so my cat wants me to stretch with her, so I'm gonna stretch with her while I do this. Um, I decided to, because I didn't put much thought into it, I decided to have this episode about monarchs. And I don't have any pictures, which I wish I did. I should have got some books out for this. I did this presentation at the library a couple years ago, I think. So now the monarchs, I'll start at the worm stage, or a lot of people call them caterpillars. I call them worms, so get over it. If you see the worm is yellow. Okay, the worms are yellow, white, and black striped. In the presentation, I showed a picture of the worm. I was not at all prepared for this, clearly, so I have no picture. But they are yellow, white, and black. I thought there was green in them. Now I'm wanting to know. It says, notice all the body parts. It has only 6 true legs. Is located in the front. When born, worms are less than 1/5 of an inch long. After they hatch, they eat the egg first, then they proceed to eat milkweed. Here's the thing. Monarchs lay their eggs on milkweed. And milkweed is the only plant that the worms can eat. That's why the monarchs lay the eggs on them. Very important to plant milkweeds. Habitats being lost, therefore no milkweeds. So people need to plant these in their gardens. At first they can only graze the outside of the leaves. If you are an avid monarch watcher like I am, you'll see like the little top graze. You'll see when they were like little tiny babies and they have only like the top graze on the leaves. Then they advance to actually eating like the whole leaf. At first they can only graze the outside of leaves. Their jaws aren't big or strong enough to eat through. The worm will shed its skin, called molting, 5 times total. I don't think I've ever seen them shed their skin. Except when I have seen them shed their skin when they're going into their cocoon. Or what I don't remember if they call it a cocoon or if it's something else. Because there's a cocoon and then something else that other monarchs and moths do. Anyways. So after the hatch, at first they only graze with, okay. The worm will shed skin. The worms eat their shedding. Not when they're going into the cocoon though. The forced shedding, the monarch starts climbing up to look for the right spot to make the cocoon. Make sure you have a lid on the aquarium at this point. I made that mistake once. I had a worm in there and it was ready to go into its cocoon, and when they're looking for a place to make their cocoon, they're trying to go up high, and well, the lid wasn't on the aquarium and it just crawled out. And actually I found a few cocoon. I used to have them in the house, and the aquarium in the house, and I saw cocoons. I saw cocoons under the bed, on the what do you call the bottom part of the bed frame. What do you call that? The baseboard. I saw cocoons a couple places. I never told my partner though. I think you'd be mad. But yeah, make sure you have a sturdy. I have had them crawl out. I didn't have a sturdy, tight-fitting lid at one time. I think I just put a cloth over top or something. I can't remember what I was doing. And the worms did crawl out. Several worms crawled out. I found them all over the house. So make sure you have a sturdy lid, tight-fitting lid, appropriate for that aquarium. The did I say that? Between the stages in between molts is called instars. I never learned how to say that word. INSTARS. The worm eats a lot more during the last few days of wormhood. Oh, they are just eating. Make sure you have enough milkweed. And it says here, make sure to put more leaves in the aquarium than you have been putting in. And make sure, okay, your leaves will dry up. So I recommend putting leaves in every day, new leaves in every day, because they will dry up. And the worms can't eat them. So don't think that because you put 5 leaves in that you're going to be okay for 5 days. That's not how that works. Every 24 hours. Make sure you have a constant leaf supply. Make sure you have enough leaf supply. If not, just leave the Monarch. That's the thing you should really look at first. Do I have a supply of milkweed leaves? That's the only thing they can eat. So if you don't, just leave that egg, leave that worm, whatever, leave that out in the wild. Let them figure it out for themselves. Don't take a worm in unless you know you can have the milkweed supply. Okay, the worms defecate a lot. I gotta turn the page here. But it's not messy. It's like solid little pellets, and unless you like squish it, you know, they'll be okay. Okay, the cocoon, which is called the chrysalis in the Monarch world. Again, I don't have a photo, but it says I should. Okay, tip. I do have tips in here. If in a lidded aquarium, the worm will crawl up to it and cocoon on that. Yep, I've had them cocoon on the lid. So be careful when taking the lid out. I did do an accident one time, a boo-boo, and I squished a cocoon because I was not careful with the lid. So be careful when you're taking off the lid. Remember, there are cocoons on that lid. After the 4th molt, the worm will look for a good place to cocoon. Already went through that. It uses a spinneret located below its mouth to squeeze out a silky string. When it finds the right spot to cocoon, the spot is personal preference to the worm. It'll spin out silk to hang from. The center clump is called a button. The button's kind of cool looking. This thread is very strong and will withstand storms. The silky substance is sticky and holds the worm. The worm will slowly lower itself down, upside down. It'll take a while, usually a day, in my experience, for the worm to start making the cocoon. When it does, it'll start squirming around. As it does, this will shed its skin. This is the part where I said it'll shed its skin. It's not going to eat it. This is like the final molt. It'll look like the head fell off. That's funny. It is funny looking. It is weird. I was like, oh, my worms lost their head. The cocoon is light green and looks slimy in the light. My tip is don't touch it. It has a golden ring around the higher part of the cocoon. The word chrysalis comes from the Greek word golden. That's how the monarch cocoons got this name. I think the monarch name is because of that golden ring too. The cocoon is pretty neat if you look it up at it close. The shell starts out light green and turns darker as the worm changes into monarch. So you'll know when it's getting closer to the time of it emerging, because the cocoon will darken. Tip: I haven't seen any cocoon movement as this change takes place. I haven't seen like that. What I meant was like I haven't seen the cocoon wiggle back and forth. I haven't witnessed it. If it did, it was so minimal that it didn't even register with me. The female cocoon has a bigger notch than the male. I wish I had a photo for this because it's pretty neat. The cocoon will be see-through right before the butterfly closes. Oh, that's really neat because you can see the butterfly. You can see the butterfly in there just all squished up. And eclosing is the hatching process when they like burst out. The process of bursting out of the cocoon. The worm cocoons head down. The monarch emerges head up. So somehow it flips around in there. Okay, so I have, it takes 8 to 15 days for the chrysalis to turn into a butterfly. It takes seconds for the splitting open period. Once it splits, it goes fast. What I mean is once it first starts splitting open, it goes pretty fast. There have been times where I knew it was going to happen and I wanted to get it, I wanted to see it, and I wanted to film it. But I had to go to the bathroom. So then go to the bathroom, come back, it's open. You know. So it will go fast once it splits. The butterfly doesn't eat the remaining cocoon. Okay, the butterfly. When the butterfly emerges, let me see if you can read this. I don't know if you'd be able to read this. Let me see. Trying to get myself comfortable here. When the butterfly emerges, its wings are wrinkly and the body bloated. It'll hang upside down while it dries. You'll see the drippies. Let me see if it's... Well, you'll see the drippies as the butterfly is drying its wings. And the wings they'll slowly... the butterfly will slowly open and close its wings to try and dry it itself. And it'll be drippy. The wings are wet. The butterfly will flap its wings to dry them and build strength. The liquid comes from the abdomen. The butterfly pumps it into the wings. The wings straighten out, making them bigger as they dry. It'll take a few hours for them to be ready to fly away. Here's my tip. If it's windy, keep the butterfly in the aquarium until it's ready to fly. If it's windy, don't put it out there early. Make sure that that its wings are fully dry and it's ready to fly. You'll say, how will I know it's ready? I would say if it's really windy or wet outside, or rainy outside. If it's windy or rainy, wait till the butterfly moves its spot. Wait till it's no longer hanging upside down. Keep the lid on the aquarium and wait until the butterfly has righted itself and is at a different location than when it was drying itself. That's what I say. Because then you'll know it's using its wings, it's ready to go. The male butterfly has thick marks on its low wings. I wish I had a picture of that. Those spots are scent glands. The scent gland produce pheromones, though scientists don't believe they're necessary for mating. Females have sensors on their legs that help them figure out which milkweed leaf to put the egg on. Females lay a lot of eggs. I've read anywhere from 400 to 1,000 eggs. Butterflies in Michigan start the migration at the end of September. Oh, 1550. Have you ever taken care of monarch butterflies or worms or eggs? Have you ever done that? I have. That's why I'm so interested in it. Females prefer young, tender leaves to lay eggs on. Here's my tip. Before mowing the lawn, check milkweeds growing on the lawn to make sure no worms or eggs are on the weeds. Either put the worm/egg in an aquarium or staple the leaf, if it's an egg, staple the leaf to another milkweed that won't get mowed. Like we have an area by the driveway, we mow, well, my partner mows, but then we have right next to that is the field. Like he'll mow one strip right up against the driveway, and then the rest of it is field. The field has milkweeds. So what I do is I tell him before, I say, let me know before you mow so I can go down there, look at all the milkweeds that's coming up in the area you're going to mow. Because that's the female monarchs like laying their eggs on the young milkweed. That's their preference. So what I do is I'll go and I'll look at all the milkweed sprouting up and look for eggs. He mows like weekly, so there's not going to be worms yet because it takes a lot longer from the time the worm lays the egg to hatch it. I don't remember how many, it probably say in here, how many days it takes, but it's more than 7 days. So I'm looking for eggs. And I will find some eggs. And what I do, sometimes, depending on the year I'm having, sometimes I'll just staple them to another milkweed that's in the field because I know he's not going to be mowing the field. And sometimes just, to have my own, if I'm not having a busy year, I'll put it in an aquarium so I'll have a few little monarchs to watch that year. But if you don't have that, you don't want to do that, just take the leaf with the egg on it and staple it to another milkweed that you know will not get mowed down. Okay, so I've seen a single egg on a leaf and usually only one egg per plant. I've never seen a cluster of eggs. Yeah, they usually, the monarchs flit just for survival. They'll flit milkweed to milkweed. They won't lay more than one egg, or at least I've never seen more than one egg on a leaf, and they won't lay more than one egg on a plant. They just flit plant to plant. It increases the chance of survival of their species if they just put them everywhere. Okay, eggs are a light green with ridges. Really cool looking thing. Wish I had a picture of it. It'll turn darker as the worm develops until it's all black, just like the monarch cocoon, the chrysalis. It'll turn darker as it matures to hatching. They're almost exclusively on the underside because of the way the butterfly's body is designed. The egg exits the body through the abdomen area, which is the bottom part. The butterfly lands on the leaf and curls the underside of the abdomen to touch the bottom, the underside of the leaf, and it deposits the eggs on the leaf. I've only seen this once. I followed a butterfly in our field. It was so neat to watch her lay the eggs. You can see her flitting, and every time she'd get onto another milkweed, she'd curl up that underside and touch the bottom of the leaf, and that's her was her depositing her egg on that leaf. Okay, milkweed. There's numerous forms of milkweed. It's called milkweed because of the, it's called milkweed because of the milky white toxic poison that comes from the plant. There are nine milkweeds zoned for Lenawee. That's where I live, Lenawee County, Michigan. Common milkweeds are good. Wait a minute. This is all the different milkweeds. Okay. Clasping, good for dry, sandy soil, low plant aphids. Aphids are sometimes a problem. Sorry about that. All that other part was different types of milkweeds. Okay, so aphids are sometimes a problem. Also, the milkweed bug can appear. Don't spray chemicals to kill them. It'll kill all the good stuff, including your monarchs. They won't hurt the monarch and won't kill the plant. I do get I do get a lot of milkweed bugs. They're red bugs. Don't worry about them. You know, if you planted enough milkweed, there'll be enough for the milkweed bug and the monarchs. So if you are worried about the little milkweed bugs or the aphids, well, the milkweed bug, I don't know about the aphids. I don't think I've ever had a problem with aphids on my milkweeds. But like the milkweed bug, you could just like flick the plant and the bugs will fall off. So, if that's a problem, if you're worried about that, just flick but there'll be enough for both the milkweed bug and the monarch. So don't worry about it. No need to fertilize milkweed. Without milkweeds, monarchs can't live, of course. Okay, here's some of the... Oh, I did all that. It took me like 2 hours to do this at the library, and I got this done in like less than half an hour here. Probably because I didn't have anybody interrupting me. To molt is to shed the outer layer of the skin. And like I said, they do it, what did it say, 4 times when they're worms. Instar is the developmental stage between the molts. Cremaster is the short hook that attaches the cocoon to whatever the cocoon is suspended from. To eclose, I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's to emerge as an adult from pupa or as larva from an egg. The chrysalis is the cocoon, the pupa. The pupa is the chrysalis. Complete metamorphosis. Insect development consists of various stages from egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Has 4 stages. The larva is the worm or caterpillar. So that's it for that. That went by quick. So anyways, again, some tips I have. Plant milkweed. If you want some, I got a ton of milkweed seeds. Still in pods. I didn't do them like I should have last year. So I still have them in pods. I can send you the milkweed seeds. If you write me or call me, you can find my information on Quaker Made Voodoo Dolls and Catnip Toys through the Google search. I'm on Google Business. It gives you the information. Write or call me. I'll send you a bunch of milkweed seeds. These are mostly common milkweeds. Very versatile. You do not have to water them. Once they are mature, You will have to take a little care for them till they become mature, though. Not over caring, because they are common milkweed meant to be sturdy in the fields. I would recommend everybody have milkweeds. So, and you have milkweeds, eventually you will get the monarchs. Once the monarchs find that the milkweed are there, they're going to start laying their eggs. And you'll be able to witness the whole thing, from the laying of the eggs to the worms. Now, once they decide to go into cocoon stage, they'll probably, from what I hear, maybe if you plant it by your house, they might crawl up your house, up to your, what do you call them, gutters, and hang their cocoon from your gutters. I've heard people say this is what happens when they plant. So you'll get to watch that. That would be a great thing for you, to be able to watch the cocoons on your gutter and just witness the whole thing. Won't even have to bring this stuff in your house. You won't have to bring it out into your garage. You have to worry. It'll just be right outside your house, and you can look at it every day. So I strongly recommend get in contact with me. Write me, call me. I will send you, private message me, email me with your address, and I will send you some milkweed seeds free of charge. Don't even have to pay for the stamp. Again, if you're mowing your lawn and you have milkweed, learn to recognize what milkweed leaves look like. There's the common milkweed has a bigger leaf, sturdier leaf than the showy milkweed, swamp milkweed, all the other milkweeds. Learn to recognize them so you can look at, be aware of them on your lawn, and so you could just go before you mow, just go up and down your lawn and check all your milkweeds. Make sure there's no eggs or worms on them. Again, if there are, staple them to a milkweed that they're not going to be mowing, or put them in an aquarium. Make sure you have access to more milkweed leaves if you're going to keep it once they hatch out. If you're not going to put it on a milkweed, make sure you have access to enough milkweed leaves to supply the worm till it cocoons. Make sure you keep that lid on. Make sure it's a tight-fitting lid. Them worms will crawl out they'll stay in pretty much the whole time. As long as you have enough milkweed, they'll stay in that aquarium pretty much all the time. It's once they want a cocoon, they'll be on the move, and they'll go up and they'll crawl out if you don't have a lid. There was a couple other things. Don't use pesticides, don't use herbicides, don't use chemical fertilizers. All this stuff is killing the milkweeds, along with habitat loss. These chemicals are killing the monarchs. They're killing the monarchs. That stuff is on the milkweed, and the worms eat it and die. And the monarchs, will use them for nectar. And they'll use a lot of plants for nectar. So it's not just your milkweed that you shouldn't be spraying. You shouldn't be spraying any of your plants, because them chemicals get into the anther or whatever, and the monarchs drink that liquid, and it's in the plant and kills them. So don't be using any type of the chemical stuff, right? If you want to fertilize, use natural stuff. Can't remember. I thought I had a couple other tips. But yeah, so just be aware of the monarch situation, and I encourage you to plant milkweeds. It is a nice experience. I've been doing it for several years now, and I enjoy it, and no regrets.